Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my personal VOD reviews of Locals. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Game 3 of Week 4 of the OP10 Meta, where I play GY Yamato versus RY Sabo. Here's the deck list that I played in this match, and if you haven't already done so, please go check out the Locals retro video I made that covers this deck list and my overall thoughts on how Locals went this week. Without further ado, let's hop into the game. Alright, moving on to Game 3 of Week 4 of the OP10 Meta. I'm playing GY Yamato versus RY Sabo. And quick shout out to my opponent, Renyu. He's been maining RY Sabo for a while now, and he makes it look really strong. He's won several locals, pretty sure it's been with RY Sabo, so I think this is just going to be a tough matchup overall because he's such a good player. Besides that, the matchup here for me is going to just be tough because RY Sabo can heal quite a lot, and the deck has a lot of rush cards. Yamato surprisingly doesn't do well against aggro decks because aggro decks just burn through my hand or burn through my life, and so it's just really tough because I'm not establishing characters when usually my opponents who are playing aggro decks do. I put it on ×2 just to get through this shuffling section here. I think we were just talking about this matchup since we've played each other several times. Okay, this is done. Slow it down back to ×1. Go over to the dice roll. I roll a 5, I believe, and he rolls a 9. 8 or 9, something like that. His pick, I want to say he went first, but I don't remember. So, as per usual with Week 4's matches, I'm actually going to just let this play out until I remember whether or not I'm going first or second. I think I might just do this moving forward because it just is easier for me to talk about why I'm mulliganing or why I might not be mulliganing. Just to see, both hands. So my opponent decides to keep his starting hand. And I am still shuffling, so give me one moment here. And let's see what I get. 5 cards, start setting up my life. Bump to start the game, and here we go. Yep, he went first, so I'm gonna pause it now. So he went first, so I know that I'm looking for a even curve, I guess, going second. Whatever my best curve is for going second. I'm gonna go back to my first hand, see what it was. Oops, I think I already... Here we go. So, in my starting hand, or my opening hand, I gotta give these better names. First hand, second hand, initial hand, final hand. I gotta decide on something, but you know what I mean. We got 5 cost Nami, 1 cost Blaze Slice, 6 cost Arc Noah, 1 cost Blaze Slice again, and what is that? 5 cost Momonosuke. Let's do a counter count. We've got a 1k here, 1k conditional because it cost Dawn, and another 1k conditional. So overall, not a great hand in terms of counter. We only really have this 1k counter that's usable at the moment, unless I leave Dawn up. No early bodies either, which is really bad. We do see the Arc Noah, which is what I'm looking for in my matchups this week. But this is 6 costs, so I'm not playing this until the later stages of the game, and I don't see 2 cost Hiyori for me to set up my life with it, right? So overall, I can see why I mulliganed for this hand. It's not a great start. There's going to be nothing for me to really do in the early game. I mean, I know I usually go Dawn onto my leader and just swing, but Nami requires me to have like a trigger I can trash, and I mean, I guess I can trash the Blaze Slice, but if I were to keep this hand, I would want to keep the Blaze Slice around for counter. And then on the other hand, I have Momonosuke. While Momonosuke is a blocker, it gets the most value if I have another Land of Wano on board for me to bounce back into life, right? Because I don't have that at all, both cards are feeling pretty bad right now. So makes sense to me why I'm mulliganing. So let's just skip forward here to when I get my starting hand. Let's stop it right on me. I gotta remember to pause the video or like hold my hand up for the video. But okay, so in our starting hand, or I guess the hand that we kept, we get a 2K. Oh, sorry. Jumping ahead of the gun here. We've got 3 cost Mihawk, 3 cost Mihawk, 2 cost Vanderdecken, 1 cost Hitetsu, and 3 cost Electric Luna. So now let's do our counter count. We've got 2K, 2K, 1K, and a 1K, meaning we've got a total of 6K counter in our hand, which is a lot better than our initial hand, right? Especially we have 2Ks, which is really good because I know against Red Yellow Sabo, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of rush units, right? Having these 2Ks means I can get out of potential 6K swings, maybe 7K swings if I combine it with the 1K counters, right? It's unfortunate that I still don't see Hiyori and I don't see the Arc Noah, meaning that it's up to chance now whether I can draw it or not. My deck doesn't have a draw engine or any cards that can draw, so it's up to top decking. In terms of what my plays can be, I mean, it's not looking too hot either. I'm not really able to make use of Mihawk's ability to cheat out a 4-cost slash unit. The Hitetsu really isn't a card that I'm trying to play. I'm trying to keep it in life if I have Hiyori. And finally, the Vanderdecken is pretty useless here because I don't have any Fishmen or the Arc Noah in hand or on the field, so pretty bad start. But at least the counter is a lot better than before. Alright, first draw and I hit the Flame Dragon King again. That's crazy. Again, I only run one of these in my deck, so I'm really surprised that I hit it. But I'm also happy because since I'm going second, I do have 2 Dawn. So let me go back here. Let me put up the Flaming Dragon King let me pull up the card so that we can read what the card does. It says 2 cost counter up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Then look at all of your life cards and place them back in your life area in any order. It does have a trigger, but I'm going to skip that for now. You can read that while it's on screen. The important part here though is that with 2 Dawn, which I have up at the moment, right? 2 Dawn right here because I'm going second. I can make use of this card to be able to counter out of any big swing, but more importantly, check my life, right? I've mentioned this in my first 2 matches. This just means I can see if I have the Arc Noah already in there, and if I don't, I can try to play around that, try to get it from my deck and stack it into my life, or, just be able to use the knowledge of looking at all my cards and reorder them in a way that is advantageous to me, right? Putting triggers where I think they'll be most valuable, and hopefully if the Arc Noah is in there, maybe put it closer to the end, like second to last card, maybe third. But it's more like second or last card would be best for the Arc Noah. So, really happy to see that. Let's see how this plays out. Pass back to my opponent. He swings, he goes up to 3 Dawn, attaches to his leader, and then attacks me for 7. And here, I think I make the right play of just using it right away to check my life, right? I lose out on the, over countering, but see, I get to see what's in my life. It's the 3 cost Izo, 2 cost Hiyori, 4 cost Basil, and 7 cost Hody Jones. So this gives me the chance to try to figure out the rest of my game plan, knowing what my life is, especially because I can choose what order they go back in. I don't see the Arc Noah, which is sad, so I know that I won't have that to kind of play around. But looking at it, at least I know I'm going to have 2 2K counters right here. And I'll have the Basil Hawkins. So I can either trigger it to draw 2 then trash 1, or I can put it in my hand And knowing that I have Mihawk in my hand, I can maybe combine it with Mihawk to play out 2 bodies for 1. Let's see how I choose to reorder my life here. Hopefully I saw or I acknowledge that I at least have Mihawk, so I can make use of the Basil Hawkins. I was about to put in the wrong order here, but alright, that makes sense to me. So I put Izo here. So this is Izo, which is a 2k counter. Hiyori here, another 2k counter. My Hody Jones, I'll just put HJ for that. And finally my Basil Hawkins. I'll just do B. Basil, yeah, BH. So the reason why I'm putting the Hiyori above the Izo is because if I put the Hiyori in my hand and I'm still alive with 1 life left, I can potentially use the Hiyori to swap out this life for a different card in my hand for a different trigger. And if I had it the other way, it wouldn't work as well. Hiyori can't use her effect without having something in life. Plus, putting the 2k counters at the end just means that I know that I'll have counter later. I put Basil Hawkins on top for the reason I said earlier. Having Mihawk in hand, I know that I can potentially put out 2 bodies for 1. Having Hody Jones as my 3rd life makes sense just because around then I'm thinking I can survive until my 7 dawn at least. So having Hody Jones at that point is good for me to start considering playing him to close out the game if I can. So far I'm seeing a lot of value out of this Flaming Dragon King. Just kind of sucks that it is 2 dawn to play, so if I'm usually going first, it's harder to use. I end up drawing a Hody Jones from my deck. That's not good, knowing that I have a Hody Jones in my life. And alright, here I decide to attach all 4 Dawn, go 9k at my opponent, and he plays out Divine Departure, which I was not expecting. So let's pull up Divine Departure, read that card real quick. Divine Departure is 1 cost counter up to one of your opponent's gains, or up to one of your leader gains plus 3000 power during this battle, right? So I'm attacking 9. He taps 1 Dawn for Divine Departure, brings up his Sabo to 8k, and then uses a 2k to counter out for a total of 10k, right? This sucks for me. I mean, I know I got 2 cards out of his hand, but my leader ability is not online, and well, I guess it's fine. I knew that I had no trigger bodies in my life, so maybe it's fine, maybe it's okay, but I ideally wanted to kind of start pressuring his life just because I know that Sabo will be able to start healing. So yeah, I think not getting him down to 3 hurts because I can't make use of Yamato's ability to reuse 2 of my rested Dawn, right? Going back to them, they are now at 5 Dawn. Attach 1 to leader, swing at me for 6. I know that the Hawkins is at my top of my life. I could counter here. Taking it would probably be fine too. But alright, yeah, I think I counter out here just knowing that he could potentially play out a rush, which he doesn't, which sucks for me because now I still can't make a play with my Mihawk. Rip. And he puts down a blocker, right? This is what's annoying. I now have to deal with trying to get around a blocker. Doesn't help that I drew another Electric Luna going into my 6 Dawn turn. And looking at my hand, yeah, you can see that I just end up attaching all of my Dawn to my leader to go for a 11k swing. And that's just because I guess at the time I'm not feeling like it's worth it to play Mihawk, the Vendor Decken. Hitetsu doesn't really help either. Can't play Hody Jones at the moment. So don't have many options here, right? I think looking back on this match now, I probably should have just played the Mihawk, right? I probably should have actually, sorry, going back to the last turn, I should have taken this life to get the Basil Hawkins into my hand, and then, play out Mihawk into the Basil Hawkins to get 2 characters on board. That would have been really nice. If I was worried about Rush with his 4 Dawn here on that same turn, at most, he can maybe do like 3 Dawn for a Rush Zoro and attack me for 6k, right? With 1 Dawn attached to it. I can get out of that with my other Mihawk. If he swings even higher, let's say 7k, I at least can just use one of my 1ks to counter out of that, plus the Mihawk, right? So I think it was a misplay not taking that first hit. Because I guess in my mind, I was thinking leader, counter out of the leader, and then just let the rush unit hit me. So was not expecting the blocker. It's hurting me now. But yeah, I think at this point, it probably would have been better to just 3 Dawn on my Yamato, swing 8k instead, and then just use 3 Dawn to play the Mihawk, just so that I can at least have a character on board, right? If I can, I know I won't be able to use leader ability, but at least having a 4k means I just need 1 Dawn investment to try to attack with it. So turn passes back to them. They are now at 7 Dawn, and my opponent swings 7k at me. I only have, what is that, 4k counter in hand. With 5 Dawn up, I'm kind of expecting a rush unit, some kind of rush unit. Like, do I counter here? I'd have to give up my Mihawk and a 1k, which means my Basil Hawkins would be useless. And interestingly enough, I choose to take the hit and trigger. Sorry, the trigger part is the interesting. I've been talking about trying to combine it with Mihawk, so I'm surprised I choose to trigger. I think it's because I'm not happy with my hand state right now. Or it could have been I forgot that it's not a trigger body. I think I might have misremembered that it wasn't like a, let's say, a Ikunojo. And so I accidentally just called trigger. But either way, I triggered it, drew 2, and it doesn't help that I drew 2 2k counters. So I mean, yeah, great, I have more counters, but it just means I have no actual plays during my turn. It did let me trash one of my Electric Lunas, though. He ends up playing the Zoro, attaching 2 Dawn to it and swinging at me for 7. What's the plan here? Really thinking this out, I guess. Alright, I pull out a 2k and a 1k, and I think it makes sense that I gave up the Mihawk just because at that point in the game, I knew I didn't have any 4 costs. But unfortunately, I drew into a Basil Hawkins, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just getting kind of unlucky right now. This sucks. Not to mention, my opponent chose to use Sabo's leader ability to put the Zoro in life, since Zoro was at 7k power. So now they're at 5 life, right? This is what I was worried about. I'm just getting further and further away from winning. I know at this point I have not too many strong plays. I decide to go 7 into my opponent's life here. They take it, doesn't hurt them at all. No triggers. Alright, I play Hiyori. I think it's because I knew it was a Hody Jones in life, and I'm swapping it out for the Hitetsu. Let me pull up Hitetsu on screen. This card, Tengu Yama Hitetsu, says, trigger up to one of your Land of Wano type leader or character cards gains plus 2000 power during this turn. So I think I'm doing this just because I am starting to get scared of rush units. He's hitting at me for these 7k swings. Giving my leader plus 2k power for the entire turn hopefully will help me, counter out of things. With my Dawn 2, because I just attached 2 to my leader, I have 6 Dawn left, means that I could have played out the Basil Hawkins. So now I have 2 characters on board. I would say this is an okay plan. Looking at my hand though, if I go back a little bit, I think the problem with this is that I end up giving up a 2k here and a 1k in the Hitetsu, right? So I put it into life. Yeah, I might get 2k counter for the entire turn, but this is minus 2k from my hand, minus 1k from my hand. I know Hody was in my life, right? So now I gain no counter. So in my hand, all I have is a 2k and a 1k with a bunch of bricks, right? I think it would have been better for me to just use 7 Dawn to play out Hody Jones instead of, you know, what I did here. If I put out Hody Jones, I take 1 life. Sure, it's going to be another Hody Jones. And I'm only swinging 6k at my opponent's life, which they can potentially counter. But I'm establishing an 8k body. And I don't know if Sabo has any ways to deal with that, right? It just means that my Hody Jones could stick around and I can start getting hits in, whether it's against their characters or against their life, right? So I think that would have been a better play. I would have had enough counter in hand to kind of survive. Knowing that these two are 2k counters especially, I would have had a lot of counters and I could just keep using Hody Jones to attack. Plus, with the other Hody Jones in my hand, I can just put down 2, right? So I think was a big misplay there. But this is the game plan we went with, so let's see how it plays out. I pass back to my opponent. They are now at 9 Dawn. Attaching 2 to their leader again. So another 7k coming at me. And yeah, this is the problem. They still have 7 Dawn up. I only have 8k counter in hand. I trigger the Tengu Yama Hitetsu to give my leader plus 2000 for the turn. Pretty cool play, but I'll show you what the problem is in a second here. Especially now that you probably can guess it. I only have 2k counter in hand. I played out the Basil Hawkins, which is another counter, so that's minus 1k from my hand. So in my hand, I only have a 2k. What is the point of me triggering the Tengu Yama Hitetsu if he's attacking me for 7k and I don't have any 1ks in my hand to counter with, right? It makes no sense. Like, sure, he has to attach more Dawns, but he's just naturally already hitting me for 7, right? There it is. He plays Kid and Killer. Because I'm at 2 life, this is actually a 7k swing at my life. What am I supposed to do here? Use the 2k to get out of this? I know a Zoro's coming up. He's got 3 Dawns, so yeah, there it is. Zoro. He uses leader ability to put the Kid and Killer in his life and give his leader or his Zoro plus 2k, so it's another 7k. So the Hitetsu ends up being useless because I just don't have the counter in hand. That's just if you play this deck, just keep that in mind, right? While it's good against aggro decks, it's not worth it if you don't have, you know, the 1k counters in hand to go along with it. This is why I'm thinking the Hody Jones play is probably better for me, right? If I had Hody Jones here instead, I could have these cards in my hand for counter. I would have had like a Hody Jones 8k here. That Hody Jones could have attacked the Zoro. I could have potentially survived some more hits, maybe with 1 more life, I'm thinking. And play out another Hody Jones. Have 2 Hody Jones, why not? I mean, I go down to 1 life, but I'm having 8k, 8k, and my leader, right? So this is why I'm like thinking so much during this match. I kind of put myself in this bad position. I only have 2k counters in hand. The Hioris are pretty useless because I can't. There's nothing good to put in my life. So now I'm trying to do something here. Do 9k at the Zoro because the Zoro is a 7k. He lets it go. 5 cards in my opponent's hand. Like, I think I just got baited by the fact Hawkins can trash the life, right? thing in my mind is like, if I put him here, he can't deal with it because it will just trash his life and I can continuously attack. With Hawkins, I just don't have the counter in my hand to like back up my like offensive attacks here. I do attach, you know, all my Dawn to my leader to just go for another big double attack. He triggers a Hawkins, letting him filter his hand a little bit. But yeah, I know my last card in life is a 2k and I only have 2 2ks in hand. This is pretty much like game for me. I don't see myself, you know, coming back from this because he's going to be able to just heal again, right? 9k with leader. I have to take it. And then he goes 9k with leader again. I can get out of this for sure. So, yep, 3 2ks. And then he just heals. At this point, my only option is to try to go from game at this position. He's got 6 cards in hand. I have Nami, 2 Hody Jones, and Electric Luna. Also, the Electric Luna is completely useless in this match because he's never playing out many bodies, right? He's just playing rush, attack, and then heal that rush unit. And then because it's in life, if I hit him, it just goes to his hand, and he can do it again. This is what's making this matchup pretty tough. I gotta get through 6 cards in hand, 3 life, with my leader, a Hawkins, most likely a Hody Jones. Yeah, this is not looking good here. I don't even have 5 cost Momonosuke to be able to, like, you know, heal a life. This sucks. So I play 2 for the Onami. Gives my leader banish. I guess I'm trying to potentially just, you know, banish 2 cards from his life. I attach 2 to my Basil Hawkins, just attack life. He takes it. This is so sad. Why did I even do this? I did 6k with my leader. He has 7 cards in hand. That's an easy 2k out. What a waste of, you know, the banish. And then I play Hody Jones. And I say 8k. I forgot to tap my Hody Jones, but it's fine because he hits a Frankie, gets to play that out. Goes to him. And that's game. GG's, Renyu. Top life was 9 flash. Yeah, that wasn't going to help me. Oh well, rough game for me. I think looking back at it, I definitely should have just established as many bodies as I could, right? Seeing how my opponent wasn't really going for my board, was just trying to rush me down, I probably could have gone away with keeping at least a Mihawk on board, and then just attaching Dons there. I can split up my Dons between my Mihawk and my leader. That would have been a lot better. Triggering the Hawkins probably wasn't a good idea either. I should have just kept that in hand and then, you know, put out both Mihawk and Hawkins. That would have given me more bodies. Could have played the Hody Jones like I said. Either way, I think I lost this game because I did not establish characters on board. So, alright, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya!